Watchme at Wasso a woman, and watching a woman de and nenum and a dear mom said woman is said Jumano, and then num dear, wow, cast off winning now here, says company for Boa, registrar office. Now, Fay no, how you know, Fakotun and him, now for woman shall quania on Befason bet me Adwoa, and what you know, some chop on crata, see woman said ya tuja, ya woman chess and no one my dress a woman and sociano, woman be frasy and match about some of the tosso edruno and cron, ya Adwoa, now so no woman to the aqua a probo. So me no ne da etoso ensia etia no so eyensem bi on pesa desuafo no wo mo ehye no enso wo mo chese academic affairs registry no edmanimu ya wo mo the timetable foforo beba ye no na ebekire ensosha no ebre ne bre ya wo betumi aye na nam sa yoso aboa masomdwe aba management kire se wo mo abadaye pa enya se bia wo mo nwini nipa ho sade adesuafo no wo mo ekama enkrofo eto wo mo adwinimanu nti en wo masa akosi nkonwa ye nam so amasese no wo mo se wo mo ma adesuafo no akwanya foforo na afi wo matumi edi sa hihye wenum nyina so a etimi aboa amom dwumadie awodo so etumi akonkan na ye kwaye nim no management ede to adesuafo no nyina ni mo se enisuade hunu pesi wo mani so ene se enwumasua ebetimi afa ntima papa fra enti no ebra wo mo suku mo ne koba se wo mo haw bia eni kwase wo mo te wo mo gumonti so sa demonstration wenu enu mo ye no Wama management ya mane management huru ya ne se ene ye ni abere kwa hihye nkojane niyema ete se de asem kase bi asie nanso so nko betimi afa kwan papa so na womo de womo haw atompanifo anim na mpanifo so ape anopomasibre ede amwo nti we de asem wode na aba beto edwa ensemi ba ya pe na VISION1 kasebo yesi ye ne mpanifo bi no mo ekasa dwamtira ni de ma interim committee ede ma Ghana Institute of Journalism SRC no eye the management ya se pa se demonstration ni nyina chi ni chopa ya wo mo pa ye no wo mo tie
because you know they are very sensitive to the plight of students like this come up we at displeasure they let you so their release today, I mean this evening, can only go a long way to confirm the relationship that management shares with students.
Okay.
We are more than excited because the number of people who are affected and text messages we have to be responding to, the number of interviews we need to wait till things get out of hand before we rise up as a student body to correct them. We should try to do our homework internally, after which we can see how best we can resolve issues before they escalate. I also blame management entirely.
For nipa ya yekoti eni sese eye Victor Yekpere wono ena eye dwamtirani de ma enmanimu ya wo mo a ehwe kire eti bo modie ne VISION1 FM ye Facebook page onom like ye page de share ya ba live comment ni gu ase ansa ne be sorry so no yakenkan e de amamu
Yet wakas ye bono eso ewa humasua ensem kronoa emu. Emra sebedwom achia mehina bedi eche ya odi kan eye ononyamfo Joseph se bia Rasta adesuafo ya wo mko yese wo mko akwaji admission no wose enye se bia school no ampene se wo be mo admission nemo no wo mka kire wo mo se enhyehyɛ ahodo bi wo hɔ no mo a esese wo mudi so eno ene no kore no wode nsem we nyina etu dwa na eyabra wo kire na dwene emiel okujeto ablakwa wo ye efa wono so na dwenkyere ewo saa ensemi ya ababeto emonten so ewo kurom ha sei na wabra walking kan statement no wo mai emrahye bedwam no Samuel okujeto ablakwa ya wono kuro ya ye kane so afo be de echi an wo hye ehumasua hye no wo hye ne akoso no a ase entiase bi nhye da enya adwuma efa ensonson ya edase ye kase obi efa ahodie entam ena fe enhyesa ahodo so a eda suku sahodo na no wo kurom ha ase ntiase bi nhye da nya adwuma e wo sansonson ye no emu wo kire se wo hye omayi afi apema henkron ene aduokrom yenu amamra ya edi ye adwuma e wo kurom hanom say article 7 clause 2 no wo kire se eyade eda no edi pefe ya chinyegye bi ani ho se emfa ho ne nipa sukro ya wo bi ye se wo ye kokko so wo ye tuntum se bi wo firi hefa ni nyina no enya de sese wo bi si obi an kwan se 1 clause 1 wo hye section C honom kra e wo 1992 constitution no emu a wo se wo bi biara wo ho kwan se e bia wonya esum bi opeso wode ne ho dom wonya ho fa ahodie emfa ho ani baby kura nipa kro no efriede di pefe
again on grounds of gender, race, color, ethnic origin, religion, creed, or social or economic status. Article 21(1)(c) further provides all persons shall have the right to freedom to practice any religion and to manifest treatment education, or any other social or economic benefit by reason only of religious or other beliefs. These constitutional imperatives, together with our enviable status as the first country in the world, on all of us be circumspect in fashioning out policies, rules, and guidelines that, if proper care is not taken, would undermine or be injurious to the well-being and the right child.
Enya Joseph Osewusu ya ono eye first deputy speaker Omei Emrashebedwam waka esi sudua no wokire se si yakase ye de osom ho asem ba be hye sa asem we ya eda ho dadada no mu a yade niam abagi nsam kura se bi obi beka se meme yo Kristo antiase be hye da aya adwuma ma omanfo enyi wo ho asomdue wokire se wo mo a wo mo ka se adesuafo no ye deny wo mo admission no ose one mo nya adwene wo kwan bia eso no de mpanifo eda suku na no no mo pa kire nyina ene se enhyehyɛ wo ho yes se obi adi so.
The young man into the school has a denial of his right to education. I beg to differ. Now, every young Ghanaian person has a right to enter Atmosphere school, but in the right to school at Atmosphere, no. So the condition is that the young man has been offered admission at Atmosphere school, having obtained the appropriate grades. Now, the only thing is that the school has rules and right to education. That is the question we must ask. He has participated, he has qualified, he has actually been sent to that school. Atmosphere school, well, this school, our board of governors has made these rules and you must comply with them. If you choose not to comply with them, if we do, then we complicate the matter for the young man.
And what you was saying Eddie to John Watcher said, Wano dear was super se womo binimua, womo eka se, I see a case Rastafarian, somno ne womona, now or man for entampini a day, woman numbino, was the one dear was to say, a bit me a basse no cresse bibisa, ewo.
You study Rastafarian. It is substance that is permitted to this book. So, indeed, if you recall, in this house, one of the persons that have been brought before this house for contempt of parliament was one person claiming to be a Rastafarian who was out of parliament. He was brought here and he was made to apologize and told to go and say no more.
Ene ya yekoti esesia yi mrasebedwo machia mehini abedi echie ya odi kan ononyamfo Joseph Osei Mahamidu wono so ede ne de atudwa wo floor honomo ene wo kire se yema ho kwan se wo bi atwa mpesempese yema no enko suku yema no admission na enyina so a yede beba no so wo mo somudi a ene hene ano ne ade obetimi aba kase wono so ne wogidie eno no nti wono so no yema na admission ana.
Ghana Education Service has clearly espoused certain rules and regulations for which the schools are pursuing. And the parents have also raised concerns that the children are being discriminated against on the basis of beliefs. Dressing also under the guise of their religious beliefs and religious expectations. So I think that the position of the school should be looked at within the context of Article 114(1)(e), and then also the right of the child also, which is
Mrasebedwani ononyamfo Prince Ama Hamidu ne kurakura mu ya wode anu yeba efa ensem ahodo ya buru soyi soafo ya ono na hwe humesua ensem so ora ya Osei Adutwum wode arehemu akọ ama Mrasebedwafo no se enche kura atenaye no wo mbehwe ede nhyehyɛ ahodo abese wo manfo ehunu ewum.
Mr. Speaker, I understand the argument that is raising in this country. I can understand where everyone is coming from in terms of the convictions that they have for or against the debate that we are talking about. But Mr. Speaker, I can assure you that Ghana Education Service within the shortest possible time, the meetings have been had, others are ongoing, the ministry facilitating to make sure that our students operate in an environment where they give up their best.
Yada so ejina enwesua wonsam so ewo kase boimu na Mrasebedwamua ene ejina wasofo sha nwesua wonsam so Dr. Yeboah Adutwum akansi sudua ya wachasa National Council for Curriculum Assessment na kafo wo muntumi emfa so twen bia ma wo mu etintim ngoma hodo ana se textbooks ahodo de ba abonten se sakasa de atia ekwane a textbooks ahodo bi wo hodom wetimi ba abonten tichu no de aba abonten ya chese ehonsem abeje ne ho me na kasa nipa bi dodo to na zu se kasetia ewefo ya chese enkrofo akasa adwuma no omo ye podwa ne kwawra adwuma en wo mo eye ne sa no ene orura edutwim kopie mo ewo Ghana enmahye bedwam a wo eyiyi nsemisa awodo ano de fa sansemi ho en wo kire ye mra eno nana wo betimi anya so twendia ma publishers wo mo etintim nkrata ya ma ho kwan na ba abonchen na wo mo eton sa mra na beche se sankrofo no ye beche wo mo aso na wo yi ensemisa bia ntino.
We are all scandalized by what we saw in the publication, but we are a nation of laws. I wish I can just jump up and go to them and say, take the books away from here. You know, the Ghana Book Development Council bill that is just like this. Unfortunately, the NACA Act does not make provision for that. So in as much as we are scandalized and don't want to see such things happening, in terms of the legal framework within which that is built into our opportunity to enforce, and once that is done, the sanctions are there clearly, and it will be applied accordingly. But Mr. Speaker, I want to say that the Ministry of Education will not in any way, shape or form condone anything.
No, omu approve says books no. Ya ababonten bedun kansa de no. Womu approve say womu fanya dwuma e wo schools ahodomu.
The Ministry of Education's attention was drawn to two on the market which contained books published by Bedu in Cancer Publications and authored by Bedu in Cancer and Nelly Martinson and Golden English Basic 4 published by New Golden Publications, and vocally that NACA has not approved these books for use in schools.
Na enwachi no enwosan eka esi sudua se nakafo no wo makacha wo manyi emfiri edwa so afei wo cha se nakafo no wo mugusu ado wo mani ehye ese publishers no directives anasa hye ya wo mde amo no wo bedi so pepepe.
On the 6th of March 2021, NACA has also informed stakeholders about imminent random visits to schools to check and withdraw unapproved books. With respect to the two unapproved books, NACA has written to the publishers asking them to withdraw these books and any other media to the general public. I've been assured by NACA that they've given us the directive, and they are also sending out people to various bookshops to check. The Ministry of Education has not procured these books for the authority to make sure that these books are not in our private schools.
Ne kwakwa mo Dr. Yao osai educhim esade to jase enya no kura se adesua enhwasode ya book bi ana nipa no wase matintima textbook ntino media bible nti wase sansam na nkrofo ka no enya no kure.
The new curriculum being the cause of the shoddy work done by publishers is of course no, an emphatic no. That cannot be the reason why it's been procured. We are in the process of doing the procurement, and very soon the books will be distributed to our schools. But I'm glad that the books are not out yet and they are going to be out now.
Enwesua so for Dr. Ya.
Womo de ofra kwa mat na yom na hye homesua ensem so Ghana Education Service GS4 and afei Ministry of Education no say animanimu ya responsibility allowances ya na ye de ma womo members na sesa sa alawa no senagrat womo ka ho Ghana National Association of Teachers NAT4 and a coalition of concerned teachers CCT4 so eka ho womo se womo abompanifo ababa sesa alawa we no esese womo sa etumi kan so bepemo ne womo sa enkanye se ye kiremu kakra efa responsible extra duties ahodo e ka de wo ye no ho achachefo no bi wo ho no mo a yemfa ne se oye senior house master so o sa kira de oye head of department e wo school bi mo o sa kira de headmasters ka ho headmistresses ne wo mo keka ho assistant for wo mo nyina ese fata ya GS mra mo ho kwan se sa alawa we no wo mo nsa etumi eka bie na fi ahenie ya ha dwene se achachefo yentumi empromoti wo mo nko manim se bia ye be ma rank bia ebro de wo ye no so enu sei abowo mo enu achi kurampo wo mo kire se afi echemu achachefo ya wo mo gentete fofra ye fa wo mo adwuma GS4 yentua masa achachefo fofro we ne betimi atua mo enso bepem ne sa sika ni nyina enyama ye ensem no de doso enti wo mo tena ho hwe we no nyina no no mankasa wo mo tiri ho a won hwe ya ne yi wo mo atiribone enu nti ene wo mo ne sa de sede we eto mpanifo anim trofo de ma nuts achachefo enkabonko no eye Thomas Musa wone nsɛmtwefo akasa.
head any the kika who cross anti bia we mun bia ye man wa dey offense responsibility allowance say sudi ideas ejumedi e crown ejumedi bia ye anhwe ye na BBC a ebe ha say ye nya promote pepepa na responsibility allowance no ethical na dey make the make say apply edudu na apply o ma submit on school for 10 months teachers na ba no adie bi a kire ni here I said the ma won no nyemfa ma won
Ora Thomas Musa eye chirofo
some esuafo kenoforiata e dia to dwa se banking sector no a wo mu ye mu adwuma enam so ma sika korabia hodo ya na sabre no wo mu nyina wo mo ena so preme no dodo na wo mo egu ye no na enhyehyɛ papa ya de papa ato wo man Ghana million enan akiripo enum ena abanam sa kwan no so ebo wonum sikasem ho ban e de ma wonum esan kora eboa ye e ma hyehyɛ hodo enso etumi ekonkan Sasem we nyina kwatu dwa na ye ne ebere kopie mo ewo appointment committee of parliament ye nimu a na wo mo etwetwo na no akari ni mudro ewo adwuma ya ya boni din ama yesika korabia hodo no agina ne na so sene kane besa fimpino eni dunson said ye na sika korabia wo mu mudro etie wo mu bisa ne sasa exercise no a wo mo ye ne sika sai ene ko mu a wadi tudwa ese 21 billion cedis en wo di ehemu yentie no
whole bank cleanup is really the purview of the Bank of Ghana. And as we can see, the results have been quite stellar because we have a much stronger banking infrastructure than we had in 2017 or 16. For acquisition or cleanup is also, in a sense, directed by the Bank of Ghana as to whom they will accept as banks and how to save deposits that the country deserves, and the results are quite clear. So even as I talk about $21 billion of shareholder of
Kanoforiata eye finance minister designate nene eni ekotie yi
Opanyine ne nsɛm ahodoɔ binom so ne yɛda so egyina wɔde nkyɛmu aba hia ne ehia sɛ aban esi gyina yɛsɛ ahodoɔ bi ɛbɛbam na afi budget no enkrata no wɔn kenkan yɛ no ohwɛ new taxes a wɔn introduce yɛ ɛwɔ saa budget no mu a na betting ahodoɔ nkyɛmu baako ɛwɔ VAT so ɛno so na ɛka saa ɛtoɔ foforɔ no ɛho national health insurance levy ɛno so ɔha mu nkyɛmu baako na ɛka ho na opanyine nkyɛmu a wɔde bɛtɔ no na etwofo freda so eye 20 pesos enya no kwa rotos ahodo ne nyema bebre no ana keka new taxes no ho wo kire se sa introduction we nyina no ba beboa na fe ye nyina ye hunu nsunsun so bone ya covid-19 ede abre omayi sikasam na ho akakakra enti sa hyehye we nyina ba beboa na Ghana ya san asi ededam biem
to lead to revenue for a Delta Fund for energy, for capacity charges, because we continue to have a gap between what ECG should be paying and what the rates are. So that was one problem that you all know about, and I think that is a health hazard for the years ahead, and therefore we are trying to. But the essence of the budget, when we say
ene uko Ghana yedwa ahodo emu a wontumi nto bibia emfansesa emmafie ade abekwakoto no 10 Ghana cedis ene no ade beche na ebo no akonanim wosesa ne ma we nyina ha adwene eno so ukie mu.
We need to burden share. We need to create a society that also will share the opportunities as we grow. I mean, in 2020, it is phenomenal. If we had not built up the resilience, I think COVID would have devastated us beyond what we are seeing.
Wasai edi tuja and what a 2021 budget no ehono watchese ni nyina kan hyehye ahodo ya abino edi gu akwemu said ye beya o meye sika sembe timi adane kakra enam covid-19 sunsunso aso nti
which in essence is the largest development effort any government will be seeing. The issue and what we did was to say that we will have a committee, a different entity that is working with, they always raise for government by looking at other resources that we have not. and then 70 billion, which will be public-private sector led.
SMB atuja ya wobo anhoba se ehye nyina da na kwam se wo mo ye aban adwumefo marketua wonsam no enkonwasi bebem na sempeja ebekoso ewo mu eno atumi akoso na ye ese public sector workers no anya bia no ensachai kakra bi beba ewo marketua nsemu anasa se sanse ehye awodom di gu akwam nyina se wan.
It is expected under the Labour Act of Tripartite some understanding on public sector pay, whether adjusted upwards or maintained. That is not their fate yet. How come it's missing?
Mr. Chairman, you notice that we have had a relatively peaceful environment during this time, and that's because the two ministries have made a special effort to as a government, and I think we have kept faith with that. And so, Mr. Chairman, I can assure you that we are clearly aware of the level of salaries that we have for our people.
And what you know, Canoforiata, Asare editor, Ja, Esse, Shaya, 1 my year walk on Mesika, Emuno, and Yadia say, a buying Asian and Krabata who will be no. 1 more Ebedia Brosa, Nasa, Yebeti me a tabby before from judgment debts, and once and Samono, Yebisana said, while sent by ye, swap for your business, Casam to Yawan some swore. If you're 9 ebium, a dear dear obey a fahon, Yensi.
It is an issue, an expenditure commitment policy, where the Ministry of Finance has worked with the AG's office to see a document that will be passed by Cabinet in the next Cabinet meeting, which read, so beyond the value for money issues is tightening and making the minister responsible for finding the resources to be able to do that. If it's not in the budget, it can't be done.
The phenomena of judgment.
Expenditure commitment issue would be a situation where you don't even get there because it can't even come through. But
Afe Canoforiata, Asandi to just ebet me akwan kandiama wa my Ghana ye waire ya yetuo no. And what you know was say as ya woman share bamboni a fisam near manual on some so dear, womu akadia kakra, ya womu di edi womu juma, yen him say, your budget ya
nomination. What strategies do you have to raise funding to equip our country's security agencies in the face of the threats that we are currently faced with?
The issues goes to suggest that there has to be some accommodations and repurposing, etc., to be able to do that. But I think over the period that we talk about, both the meeting base.
Canoforiata and Yokotieni.
Na afei efa power distribution services PDS for so ho deal ye beto dwa ya echire aban etwa mu kra no wo kire se ema womo afimpino ene edunkro no emu no womo arehye mu ye pa se adwuma so no ye no nti ye ne womo ko sa agomo etwa sa deal no emu.
Mr. Chairman, you know the issues of PDS to a certain degree are in court, and I'm sure we will resolve those. Any Ghanaian will be having much empathy for them not being able to meet their conditions subsequent, and that is a good thing that we have it back in our fold.
Ken Oforiata ene etini ni sesie
na yetwa ensam no so no ye womo ye adwuma wo ambulance emu yi ebi Ghana ambulance service wo etifido mantamo emu akronf na sasem we kosi bese no wotwe ebre emu ebra na obi a wono no ya hwa no Watermale hospital ya ne ho ato no ye se ye de na ekwa ba bi ofiri baaye enti ambulance mu no wom de ne to ye mane na nya asem ketoa deputy administrative head ya woda Ghana ambulance service ano Abdul Adam Latif wona ne sem chofo atwetwe nkomo en wode sasem ina Jesse no baba akokura ka ho wom do mo sake kaka no rough so ni mu basa ambulance adwumayefo no say wom bambo ho nsam na kwakwa bibie wo ho etu wom gusua ne aban kasa se yema wom bambo se de beboa na niema bi etesa no wom betimi asia no na se na wom nyanya bambo no wom utufu se wo ambulance driver na bi a ukọ ba bi na de asa da ho
security whatever we have a nice emergency, but as we speak now we are still working on it. I mean talkings are going on on for us to get that security done for us. The safety that we have now is when you know that you are on the way and they would very well. So that is the security that we have for ourselves now. It is not sufficient. We are still working around the clock to get the government to give us more security. But these are the measures that we have taken so far.
Ewusia ye begina sa ensem wei eso na afi enwume no nsia kasebo ya ye de besomo ewo Vision 193.5 FM no ye de ni nyina esi ede ama mo amode madwenhwe kofa Facebook na Kwame Bonsu Sheka Kwame Frempon Isaac Kwabena Esuman Ekuoko na nso obai wono enedi production no enim ya ye de ensem no brema na afi Prince Adolfo Tre wono so eneboa yen ede yen ko Facebook ene enwume ya ye je penie ekenkan kasebo no ede ema mo midi
kwaso den enti mwadawroma eya na matubi egum ede amaye sede be ya afi no abasobode no yebetumi ede apiemo ewo efiase kama pa ede amo eye 85 nti ubo code no a na afi wato duduo bia ya wo pese woto ema 45 na to aso na wutugum saa me Yeboah nso so foreign sports presenter of the year Greater Accra wono so ni code 56 enti bomode ya star 800 star 400 star na ode 50 Yamamumu Eniti.
Oh,